Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David that is to come. Alleluia, 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 alleluia,
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. The rulers sneered at Jesus and said, "He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the chosen one, the Christ of God." Even the soldiers jeered at him. As they approached to offer him wine, they called out, "If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself." Above him there was an inscription that read, "This is the King of the Jews." Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we received corresponds to our crimes. But this man has done nothing criminal." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." The Gospel of the Lord. In the cemetery down at St. Aloysius, there's a monument. It's in the oldest section of the cemetery, and it's one of those big granite monuments like you used to get in the old days. I was looking at the dates, and I guess it's a family plot, and I presume the mother of the family was born in 1863 during the Civil War, and she didn't live a very long life because she was dead before 1900. So it's an old monument, and it is in the oldest part of the cemetery, and it stands right in the southeast corner of the cemetery, right there by Church Lane and my driveway. So there it is. And on top of the monument is a statue of the Blessed Mother. And it's a statue of the Queen of Heaven because she has a crown on her head. And she's standing there looking up into the sky. But her back is to everybody else in the cemetery. And she's looking out across the statue is facing Church Lane, Church Street, whatever it's called. I've only been there for about 10 years. I can't remember what it's like she's got her back to everybody else. And I always thought that was kind of peculiar. Why would they do that way? Well, several years ago, I was out walking my dogs. I used to have 2 of them. And it was still dark out when we went outside, and we walked around, and as I was coming back to take them back in the house, I looked up, and it was just the very beginning of dawn. You've seen that, where just across the horizon, this little string of light goes and begins to light up the eastern sky. At the same time, I happened to look up at this monument and the statue of the Blessed Mother, and I realized why they had positioned her that way. The statue is actually looking at the eastern horizon, and so that every day the statue of Our Lady is looking at the rising sun. And then it made sense to me. She wasn't positioned so that her back was to everybody else in the cemetery. She was positioned as first among many who would look forward to the resurrection of her Son. Our Lady, a wonderful and most perfect example for us to follow in the faith, her statue had been positioned so that there was a daily symbolic reminder of the faith in the resurrection of Christ and the new kingdom of light, which is open to all of us. And I really find that to be one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. If ever driving by there, you can't miss it. Take a look at it sometime. The other thing that I find symbolic is the fact that it is in a cemetery, there where many, many people are buried, not only in our cemetery at St. Al's, but right across Weirman Avenue, Bridgetown Cemetery. And so it is a reminder that even as we and Our Lady and Jesus himself looked to the resurrection, there is first the doorway that we all have to go through, and that is death. So this statue in the cemetery reminds us that before the resurrection and the glory of heaven, we all still will pass away. Even as in our gospel for this year's celebration of Christ the King is the crucifixion of Christ in St. Luke's gospel. And so it's good for us on this feast day this year to remember that before Easter Sunday, there is going to be Good Friday for Jesus and for all of us. Now, we don't like to dwell upon death, to think about it all the time, and that's good. I don't think it's healthy for us to be thinking about dying all the time. We need to live life. We need to be alive. We need to be grateful for the fact that we are alive and have the opportunity to do good things. But one thing that we should dwell upon daily is our faith. The faith that makes sense out of the Good Friday that is going to come upon all of us in one way or another. And so with our faith, the more we cultivate our faith, the more we live the gospel, the more we strive to obey those commandments that Christ gave us, the two primary, loving God and loving neighbor, the more we do Christianity in our lives, the less fearful will our Good Friday be when it finally comes upon us. And we will be able to look past that and to see, even though death itself may be a scary thing, of course it is, but we will be able to see past that to the beauty of the heavenly kingdom that awaits us. Our Blessed Mother was first among us to look forward to that. The statue in that cemetery is a reminder for us, for me anyway, every day that sunrise is only a symbolic sunrise for the light of heaven that awaits us all. And if we live our lives embracing the gospel and actually trying to do what it says we ought to be doing while we're all in here, then one day all of us can look forward to hearing Jesus say to us, "Today you will be with me in paradise."